Good morning Year 4s. Now today's challenge is for you to create your own rainbow fraction. So I've got some beautiful colours here ready to go. Now the fraction we're going to start with is 1/2, which we write as 1, the line in between and a 2 underneath. Now we are going to make a whole row of equivalent fractions. Now as Miss Miskin said in your last video, whatever you do to the numerator at the top, you need to do to the denominator as well. Okay, so for my first one, I'm going to times both these numbers by 2, and I'm going to draw an arrow to show this. Okay, so my 1, my numerator, times by 2 equals 2, and my denominator, 2 times by 2 equals 4. So our first equivalent fraction to 1/2 is 2 line 4, which we will say 2/4. Okay, now next up, instead of timesing by 2, this time, I'm going to show you, I'm going to times by 3. Okay, so again, I'll do the same to the top as I do to the bottom. So we started with 1, we're going to times that by 3, equal 3 as the numerator, and the denominator of the half, which was a 2, times by 3 equals 6. Okay, so our next equivalent fraction is 3 line 6, but we would say 3/6. Okay, oh, I wonder if you can have a think. What will I times by next? I've done times by 2, times by 3, yep, you guessed it, times by 4. I'm taking up quite a lot of Miss Miskin's paper here. Right, so the next one, our numerator 1 times by 4 equals 4. Our denominator 2 times by 4 equals 8. 4 line 8, which equals 4/8. Oh, now you might keep going. I'm just going to do one more for 1/2. So the last equivalent fraction I'm going to do for 1/2, I'm timesing it by 5. Okay, our numerator 1 times by 5 equals 5, and our denominator 2 times by 5 equals 10. Now, just to finish off, I'm going to add some equal signs to show that all these fractions are equivalent. I wonder whether you can spot a pattern. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the numerator, and as the denominator it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I wonder whether at home you can think of the next fraction. What will come next? Okay, the next example I'm going to show you today is the equivalent fractions for 1/5. Okay, now hopefully you can remember from the last example that I start by timesing it by a number, and that number is 2. Okay, so my first fraction I'm going to times by 2. So I draw my line in ready. I look at my numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. My denominator, 5 times 2 equals 10. Now you might be very clever and remember the pattern from last time where it went 1, 2. Maybe you can think about what the numerator and denominator might be. Okay, so next up, I'm going to times my numerator and my denominator by 3. So 1 times 3, I have to draw my line in. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so I'm starting to get my row of equivalent fractions. Okay, next. Have a think at home. What will I be timesing by next? I've done by 2, by 3. This time it will be timesing by 4. Okay. So my numerator follows the same pattern. I times by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And my denominator, thinking about the pattern, 5, 10, 15, will be 20. Okay, and remember, 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, and my last one. I'll be timesing by 5. Okay, so look at my numerator. 1 times 5 equals 5. My denominator, 5 times 5 equals 25. Now, you might have been able to work out the pattern without drawing these arrows, because you might remember from last time, the top goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bottom one works in that times table. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I wonder whether you can work out what comes next. Now I'm going to put my equal signs in just to show the relationship between these fractions and that they are all equal. Now you might want to keep going further and further and further, but I've nearly run out of room. Now down here I'm going to write the fractions that we would like you to try your own rainbows for. So first of all, can you try doing a rainbow fraction for 1/3?
Oh, so they'll be practicing their 3 times tables, Mrs. Hayes.
They will, absolutely. If you remember this pattern, your 3 times table will come in very handy. Now after that, once you finish that one and go as far as you like with that one, you might want to try 1/4 as well. Well, what times table, Miss Miskin, do you think they might need for that one?
I think they might be really good at these because it's their 4 times tables.
Excellent. Now, a bit of a challenge for you, if you would like to. See if you can have a go at a rainbow fraction for 1/8 or a fraction of your choice. Hope you enjoy. Get the coloured pens out. Have fun.